Greetings. Hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Whatever it is, wherever you are, hello and welcome to Get the Pen. Thank you again for joining me. Thank you for pressing play. Thank you for just sharing a moment with me. I appreciate it. If you haven't already, make sure you click subscribe. And if you want to know more about my books and Get the Pen, you can go to getthepen.net. Today's book is taken from those inspirational articles I wrote. And the book is right behind me. So I'm not going to hold it today, but you can see the cover. It is available on Amazon, or you can go to getthepen.net to learn more about it. It's volume one of three, and it is a collection of inspirational articles that I wrote for the Telegram newspaper from 2001 to 2016. I have over 900, maybe even close to 1,000 articles that I have written, and there's an average of maybe 300 per volume. So it's 900 pages of articles, and I welcome you to purchase. You can either do the Kindle ebook or paperback edition of either. Get all three. Some people have gotten all three volumes. It's just nice to have around, especially if you were a fan of the column. If you are not familiar with the column, you can familiarize yourself with it. And it's a way to get to know me. Those articles are really, they're old. We're in 2024, more than 20 years old, but many are just timeless. And of course, I have evolved since then, but I still really enjoy revisiting the information in those articles, the inspiration. It comes from a spirit of love. So I encourage you to check it out. I'll be reading from that today from volume one of those inspirational articles that I wrote. This week's shout out is my firstborn, Janae, my oldest daughter, Miss Janae Smith. She lives in New York. Just wonderful, courageous person. One thing I can say about my daughters is they are brave. They're probably more courageous and ambitious than I was. Both have left the state of Michigan to follow their dreams. This one knew at 16 that she wanted to live in New York after visiting a friend in Pennsylvania. They took a day trip to New York City, and she fell in love with New York City. And sure enough, as soon as she graduated from Western Michigan University, about 6 months later, she packed up her car and drove to New York. I cried the whole night, but she made it. It was a rough start, but she has survived and is thriving in Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn in the house. She went on to get her MBA from NYU. She has worked for Genius, for Time Magazine, for Condé Nast, the publishers of Vogue, GQ, and some other renowned magazines. And she's done some other work, and she's continuing to do great work in New York. She is now a mommy and soon to be a wife. I just want to shout her out. She is my daughter. She is also a phenomenal woman, like so many others. Thank you, Janae, for being great. Thank you for making me so proud. So, as some of you know, in addition to being a writer and self publisher, I am a hospice chaplain, and I've been doing so since 2006. So that puts me at about 18 years of hospice experience. I took like a 2 year hiatus from hospice, but came right back to it. I was missing my patients. I did try other things that were great experiences, including becoming a licensed insurance agent, life and health. I sold Medicare plans. It was okay, it was cool, but nothing like my hospice peeps. I love my families. And some people just think, oh no, that must be a really sad job. That must be hard. And honestly, it's not hard. It's the best work that I've ever done. I find so much fulfillment in it. And yes, we see sad things, but we also see beautiful things. Plus, it is an honor to serve families during difficult times. It's an honor to be a source of support, spiritual and emotional support to patients and families Um, I love what I do. Do I have hard days? Yes. Do I have days where I say I'm gonna quit? Yes. Have I quit? No. Will I one day? I don't know. I don't know if something else comes along, but right now I'm still doing it for as long as I can do it. And I am encouraged by one of my colleagues who is 85 years old and still working as a hospice chaplain part time. So every time I say to myself, I'm getting too old for this, I think about her, Sister Jean. Sister Jean is still working part time 3 days a week in her mid 80s and still going strong. This woman can get on the floor, kneel down on the floor, and get up without assistance. When I get on the floor, I kind of require some assistance, but I'm getting better since I've been working out. I'm getting a little bit better at getting up unassisted, but she is such an inspiration to so many of us to watch her continue to um, walk out her calling even at her age. She is not ready to settle down. She still travels and she is still living life. So I am inspired. I'm going to be living life as well. So, speaking of my work, my hospice work, by going into the homes of families, I get to hear so many wonderful, amazing stories, life stories, love stories, hospice stories, heartwarming stories, and also heartbreaking stories. So many. And I said one day I should write a book about some of the lessons I learned even as a hospice chaplain. I've written about so many other things, and I've written a lot about end of life, death, and dying and grief, and you'll find that in some of my work. But I one day hope to write a project that's dedicated to end of life and grief stories that will touch your heart, warm your heart, make you smile. It might make you cry too, but it's all good, and it's all in the name of helping us get through difficult situations. So I was going to go off into some other things, but that could take me down a rabbit hole, and I'm just gonna save it for another time because I have so many directions I can go in when it comes to me and my hospice work and the families that I get to serve. But I'm gonna go back to an encounter I had. Actually, it turned into a relationship with a caregiver that I was visiting every month. And this story article is written in an article in the volume 1 of those inspirational articles I wrote. So you can find it there along with many others just like it. But I'm going to just share this with you, and I called it Goal Mind. I learned so much from my families, and I always think when I go in, I'm there to help them. But when I tell you they help me more than I feel like I help them, is the truth. I get so much out of these visits. I learn so much about life and about humanity, about human psychology, human behavior, love, the heart, the spirit, all of that. And I get to do this every day. So I count it a privilege. It is not hard. It is not sad. There are some sad things, don't get me wrong, but in the grand scheme of it, is such a privilege to do this work. So I visited a special lady. Her husband was one of our patients, and I visit her. Was visiting her monthly, and I'm going to call her Mrs. A just to protect her identity. So we sat and talked, and she said to me, "You have a goal mind." And I said, "What is that? What do you mean a goal mind?" She said, "A goal mind, and it will lead to a gold mine." Astonished, I asked, "What do you mean?" And she told me I have the kind of mind that sets goals and that I pursue the achievement of those goals. And she said it's important to meditate on a thought, and not just any thought, but thoughts that will lead you closer to what you're trying to attain. She said God can use a single thought to give you a great idea that will lead you to great blessings, hence a gold mine. So the gold mine leads to a gold mine. And that's one of the most valuable commodities you can have, is that of a gold mine. With a gold mine led by God, you will prosper. And Miss A went on to tell me how gold has a high material value. In fact, the price of gold has risen recently. Even with that being so, she said, but I am priceless. And I'm telling this to you too because I want you to know that you are priceless. So everything she's saying to me, I'm giving it back to you and I'm saying it to you because you have a gold mine and I want you to use your gold mine to discover your gold mine. You are sitting on riches. Maybe you're using them, maybe you're utilizing your gifts and your talents, and maybe you can increase it and have even more, or maybe you still need to discover. So Ms. A talked about how miners that extract gold from the earth, and during this time, and you may recall this a few years ago, that there was some miners trapped in mines. And when miners get trapped in the mines, it can be tragic. And what's worse, she said that there are people trapped in their own mines. Y'all get this? Miners who are under the earth, if that earth collapses, that exit collapses, and they can't get out, they are trapped. And that is tragic. And she said, what is just as tragic is that there are people above the earth's surface who are trapped up here, trapped in their own minds. It's time to break free. We should all be miners. We should all be gathering and mining. But we can mine without the worry of being physically trapped. We got to break free from the mental traps. So the miners who searched for gold did so because there was great value in it. They wanted to become rich. And the thing about gold is that it's highly valuable and it holds its value over the years. Throughout the Bible, we read about the prestige and value of gold. And today we can take our gold and trade it for cash. But what happens when that runs out? You need a gold. We're living in a gold rush. God can give you thoughts when you meditate on Him and His Word. Remember the gold rush out west in California in the mid 1800s? Well, today there is an ongoing gold rush if we tap into it. Miss A said to me, and I'm saying to you, we are walking and living in and on a gold mine if we have a gold mine. God gave us everything we need. It either comes as an idea or a thought inspired by God. Meditate on it. God gives us the ability to produce wealth. It begins with a thought or a vision. Meditate on it, set goals, ponder, sit and think on these things. Be goal minded. Pray for God's guidance, and it can lead you to a gold mine. I felt like I had struck gold that day when we had that conversation. I was able to sit at Miss A's feet and collect gold nuggets she dropped on me. I told her that I would share this wisdom and hope that it would bless thousands of people to become gold minded so that we can strike gold. Mrs. A is a book collector like me. She said, I don't read just anything. I read what gives me good thoughts. She hardly ever leaves the house, and I was one of her only outlets. So she unloaded on me, and I counted a privilege to share her wisdom with you. She left me with this: God is delicious. I concurred, of course. The word says, taste and see that the Lord is good. Now go get your gold and your gold. God is better than good. Use your gold mine. It is blessed. You deserve gold. You can get gold. Use your resources. Turn to source. Think on these things. Think on your gifts. Think on the things that ignite you. Think about the things you're good at and passionate about. How can you use those things and set goals with them? How can you use those things and turn them into a gold mine? Think about it. Sit in a quiet place, grab your journal, and write your thoughts down as they come to you. And ask God to give you ideas, to give you revelation and inspiration so that you can take it and turn it into something. Turn it into something lucrative, something that will provide for you and your family and be a blessing to those around you. Thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for joining me. And I hope you get the pen. Go sit down in a quiet place, get your pen, write down your ideas, channel those ideas, be introspective, gather your thoughts, put it on paper, and formulate a strategy and set your goals. You've got a gold mine, and we're going to convert the gold mine into a gold mine. Blessings. I'll see you next week.